Christine Brown and Meri Brown's explosive fights over their children have become one of the most shocking storylines in Sister Wives. Recently, Mykelti Padron, Christine's daughter, broke her silence, addressing disturbing events described in her mother's book while also sharing her own painful experiences with Meri. According to Mykelti, she always felt different from her siblings, and as a result, she often bore the brunt of Meri's wrath. But this wasn't just about Mykelti. Meri's anger at times spilled over to other children in the family, creating an environment filled with tension and fear. And while these fights might seem like isolated incidents, Mykelti revealed that they were far more common than fans ever imagined. What started as disagreements over parenting quickly spiraled into chaos, culminating in moments so volatile that they changed the family forever. Mykelti explained that she was never quite like her siblings. While many of the Brown children followed the rules of their strict polygamist upbringing, Mykelti described herself as a creative, free-spirited rebel, a trait that often put her at odds with Meri. As she got older, especially during her high school years in Las Vegas, Mykelti began to push boundaries even further. She openly admitted that she was a bit of a wild child, even calling herself a party girl. She shared a private story with her Patreon followers about how she once got far too tipsy at a party, forcing Christine to pick her up in secret, a moment that was never shown on the series. Mykelti's creative streak also surfaced in the way she dressed. She wanted to wear clothing that was less modest, which clashed with the strict rules of their faith and family culture. But here's the twist, she wasn't alone. Other older girls in the family, like Maddie, also wanted to wear slightly shorter skirts. And by shorter, we mean just above the knee. Despite these small acts of rebellion, Mykelti revealed that her mother Christine was supportive and understanding, while Meri was the complete opposite. Christine's parenting philosophy was laid back and nurturing. She believed that kids need to be kids, allowing them to jump on beds, play freely, and explore without too many rules. Meri, however, demanded strict order and discipline. Her house had to be perfect, and she had zero tolerance for rowdy or chaotic behavior. This clash of parenting styles set the stage for explosive confrontations between the two women. And as the tension mounted, the children were caught in the middle, often becoming the very reason for their fights. According to Mykelti, these weren't rare disagreements. In fact, there were several intense fights between Christine and Meri over the years, some so heated that they scarred the family permanently. But what truly shocked fans was Mykelti's revelation about the specific incidents that fueled this ongoing war, moments where discipline crossed the line, and children were left feeling frightened and betrayed. As the family grew, so did the tension. And at the center of much of the chaos was Christine's son, Peyton. Peyton was a big kid with a strong personality, and unfortunately, he often took out his frustrations on his younger siblings, especially the girls. Mykelti and other family members recalled multiple occasions where Peyton would pick on his sisters, teasing them relentlessly and even crossing into physical aggression. On the show, there were unforgettable moments that gave viewers a glimpse into this dysfunction. In one episode, Peyton was seen relentlessly pestering the younger girls, and instead of normal sibling teasing, it escalated into full-blown bullying. Christine, known for her more permissive parenting style, often brushed it off, hoping the kids would work it out on their own. But Meri wasn't willing to let it slide. During one particularly heated moment, Peyton poked young Brianna in the eye, leaving her screaming in pain. The room erupted in chaos as Brianna clutched her face, sobbing. Meri immediately snapped into action, shouting for Peyton and demanding the behavior stop. Guys, these are your brothers and sisters, whether you like it or not, and you better start treating them like it. For Meri, this was about basic respect and protection. Physical violence was absolutely unacceptable, and she wasn't about to stand by silently. Christine, however, did not appreciate Meri stepping in and disciplining her son. She saw it as an overstep of boundaries, a direct challenge to her authority as Peyton's mother. This was the spark that ignited an explosive fight between the two women. Christine felt undermined and attacked, while Meri felt frustrated and powerless, forced to watch behaviors she considered dangerous go unchecked. Viewers saw flashes of this tension play out on screen, but according to Mykelti, what fans didn't see were the behind-the-scenes confrontations, screaming matches, and emotional breakdowns that left everyone shaken. These moments weren't just about Peyton's actions, they were symbolic of a much deeper problem. Two completely opposite parenting philosophies colliding under one roof, with the children caught in the crossfire. And as the kids' behavior became more volatile, the fights between Meri and Christine grew uglier and more personal, setting the stage for an ongoing war that would haunt the family for years. But this wasn't just about sibling rivalry or strict rules. The deeper the conflict went, the clearer it became that jealousy, poverty, and the pressures of polygamy were fueling something far more destructive. And no one, not even the children, would escape unscathed. While Peyton's outbursts and Meri's strictness were flashpoints, the real root of the chaos ran far deeper. Behind the cameras, the Browns were dealing with extreme poverty, the crushing weight of polygamy, and a household constantly stretched beyond its limits. Mykelti revealed that during her childhood, they often didn't know where their next meal would come from. Some of the kids didn't even have their own beds to sleep in. Christine herself worked multiple side jobs just to keep her children clothed and fed, a heartbreaking reality that the show only hinted at. At the same time, the family dynamic was becoming more volatile and competitive. When Robin joined the family, bringing her 3 children, the existing kids were suddenly forced to integrate, expected to instantly bond and act like one big happy family. The truth was very different. The kids were struggling emotionally, dealing with jealousy, confusion, and deep feelings of abandonment. Christine's children, in particular, felt like they were losing their father. Before Robin came into the picture, they had a dad who was present and involved. Afterward, they watched him shift his attention to Robin and her children, a wound that only deepened as the cameras rolled. Imagine being a child in that situation. Your family is in poverty, your dad seems to disappear, and meanwhile, you're expected to perform for a reality TV audience, smiling while your world crumbles behind the scenes. The result? Children acting out in explosive ways, throwing things, screaming, even hitting each other, because they didn't have the tools to express their pain. This emotional chaos often spilled into violent fights among the siblings, with Peyton and Garrison frequently targeting the younger kids, leaving the house feeling more like a battleground than a home. For Meri, watching this unfold was unbearable. She couldn't ignore the physical violence or constant disrespect, and every time she stepped in, Christine saw it as an attack rather than help. Guys, these are your brothers and sisters, whether you like it or not. Meri's voice would cut through the chaos, but instead of uniting the family, her interventions only deepened the divide between her and Christine. The two women weren't just arguing about rules, they were fighting for control, for validation, and perhaps even for Cody's attention, while the children suffered in silence. And as these explosive battles raged on, it became clear that the kids weren't just casualties of conflict. They were also being exploited by the very show that claimed to celebrate their family. The constant fighting inside the Brown household was already devastating, but when the reality TV cameras were added to the mix, the situation became unbearable. What the world saw was a carefully crafted image of a blended family, smiling through their struggles. But behind those smiles was a powder keg of anger, jealousy, and grief, ready to explode at any moment. Mykelti revealed that being forced to film their lives only magnified the trauma. Even if the kids didn't watch the episodes, they knew the footage was out there, with strangers online commenting on their most painful family moments. Imagine being a child, already grappling with poverty, abandonment, and conflict, while also knowing the entire world is watching your suffering like it's entertainment. Christine has admitted, "None of my kids want to be on the show, and none of my kids watch it." But that doesn't erase the impact. The cameras were everywhere, capturing fights, breakdowns, and humiliations that would follow these children for the rest of their lives. Mykelti herself shared some of the most disturbing details. She described living with Meri as deeply traumatic, recounting years of feeling belittled and mistreated. "It wasn't just one thing," she explained. "It was a compounding effect, built up over many years." Mykelti described multiple explosive fights between Christine and Meri, battles so intense they shook the entire household. These weren't small arguments. They were screaming matches filled with rage and heartbreak, often sparked by disagreements over how the children should be raised. Even after Christine reached her breaking point and told Meri she wanted nothing more to do with her, Meri remained a constant presence in their lives. a painful reminder of past wounds. Mykelti admitted that she suppressed many memories of that time, only to later realize they were symptoms of deep emotional trauma. And while some fans accused Meri of physical abuse, Mykelti stopped short of confirming those rumors. Instead, she focused on the emotional damage, painting a picture of a woman whose strict rules and harsh words left lasting scars on the children. For Mykelti, therapy has been essential in beginning to heal. She's urged that every child in the family needs therapy because the level of trauma they've endured goes far beyond normal childhood struggles. But there's a haunting question at the heart of her story. If everyone knew this environment was so toxic, why did the cameras keep rolling? The answer is as heartbreaking as it is simple. Money. The show gave the family an escape from extreme poverty, but at a terrible cost. Their privacy, their dignity, and their peace of mind. Trapped in a cycle of fame and dysfunction, the Browns became characters in their own tragedy, selling their most painful moments for the almighty dollar. And as the show gained success, the kids became unwilling participants, their cries for help drowned out by the demands of production. Mykelti's testimony isn't just a personal account. It's an exposé, revealing how a family in crisis was exploited by a network, while their trauma was packaged and sold as reality TV drama. But as shocking as these revelations are, the story isn't over. Because Christine and Meri's war wasn't just a clash of parenting styles, it was a symptom of something much deeper. A system of polygamy and control that fractured their lives from the very beginning. Christine and Meri's relationship was once complicated but functional, held together by the fragile framework of polygamy. But over the years, the constant fights over the children, the jealousies between sister wives, and the pressures of poverty and fame completely tore that bond apart. According to Mykelti, there wasn't just one single breaking point. There were many explosive battles, each one chipping away at whatever trust or respect remained between the two women. Christine eventually reached a place where she couldn't take it anymore. She told Meri directly that she wanted nothing more to do with her, except to coexist as two women married to the same man. It was a heartbreaking declaration, especially knowing that their children would still be connected forever. But even after Christine drew this boundary, Meri continued to be a constant presence, creating an environment filled with resentment, fear, and suppressed pain. Mykelti admitted that during this period, she suppressed memories just to survive emotionally. Only later, through therapy, did she begin to understand the depth of the trauma she had endured. It wasn't about one incident, she explained. It was about years of conflict, built up over time until it finally became unbearable. This wasn't just a clash of personalities, it was a symptom of polygamy itself, a system where women are pitted against each other, children are forced to share limited resources, and everyone lives under constant stress and competition. Even Meri, often portrayed as the strict disciplinarian, likely carried her own guilt, shame, and heartbreak. Struggling with infertility, watching her husband's attention shift to younger wives, and trying to enforce rules in a chaotic household would push almost anyone to their limits. Christine, meanwhile, was grappling with poverty and powerlessness, trying to protect her children while also being trapped in a belief system that told her leaving was not an option. In the end, neither woman won. The real casualties were the children, who bore the weight of their parents' choices and the added burden of living their pain in front of millions of viewers. Today, many of the Brown kids, including Mykelti, continue to work through their experiences in therapy. Some have spoken out publicly, while others remain silent, choosing distance over confrontation. Mykelti's courage in speaking out has given fans a glimpse of the true cost of this family's story. It's a reminder that what we see on reality TV is often just the surface of deep generational wounds. As the Sister Wives saga moves forward, there is one small glimmer of hope: healing. Christine, Meri, and even Cody now have a chance to step outside the system, to face the damage that's been done, and to finally focus on repairing relationships rather than maintaining appearances. But whether that healing will actually happen remains to be seen. For now, Mykelti's revelations stand as a powerful warning about the dangers of toxic family dynamics and the devastating consequences when pain and conflict are exploited for entertainment. No matter how messy this story gets, one thing is clear: the children deserve a future free from the shadows of the past. And perhaps, just perhaps, the next chapter of their lives can finally be about peace, understanding, and genuine love, not cameras, competition, and chaos. Don't miss the next headline. Like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell.